Welcome to LOCKBEARD Phenomena number 42. Alabama sighting, question mark. It's April 30th, 2022. What the hell just happened this last week on the Bigfoot shows? Ruthless is here. He says, morning from Australia, meet Sax. The Matrix, yeah. Matrix. More than April Fools. But the tricks of May roll out the lulziness more than April Fools. Yeah, it's an appropriate comment, considering. Mr. Lee's here. Cindy Finn. How y'all doing? Ernie, welcome. Daily Dan, what's up? He made Rice Krispie treats. Angel Nolan, the Bat Mom, peanut butter on your Rice Krispie treats. What is up, everyone? Next time I'll try that out with peanut butter. Donald's here. Welcome. How's it going, man? Batman says he's wearing a wife beater. You've been in Oklahoma too long there, Lockbeard. Oh no, I think a wife beater has to be like white, with stains. This is what you wear in the gym. This is I wouldn't call it a wife beater. Oh, good to see you, man. Beer's coming in. Yeah, it's a coming. It's a coming. Saying hi to everybody there. Oh, yeah, we might have a cultural in the U.S. I guess it's not the same over there where you're at, Mr. Lee. In the U.S., a lot of times it's thought of or depicted that a man who is beating on his wife is wearing a white tank top, but it's like an undershirt, really. It's not the same as like what I got on. It's the same shape basically, but this is not like, this ain't what one would wear for an undershirt. This is, just a shirt. It's kind of a different deal. But anyway, so they call the shirt a tank, like a white tank top. Typically, is a wife beater, or referred to one. Ida Bustamante's here. Welcome. Let's see. I was waiting for it. Homer down the cliff is hilarious. Yeah. Well, Donald Fuller says that clip pretty much sums up his life. Batman says, well, it can be any shirt. Wife beaters don't discriminate on what they wear when they beat you. I guess not. So doing great as well. Will you make mine to please? So, have y'all heard about this case out of Alabama? Well, I'm using the word case loosely here. very loosely. I don't know if anybody, if he, yeah, this happens all the time. I mean, what the thing that well, let me just let's just kind of look at it here. A Facebook post has gone viral after it suggests that a man may have spotted the elusive creature Bigfoot by a lake in Wilmer, Alabama. In the photos, yeah, you see there's something or someone walking upright on 2 feet along the lake. And, it says, could this be the creature or is this just a publicity stunt? The social media post indicates that the Mobile County Sheriff's Office is aware of the sighting and that Bigfoot teams have been deployed to the area where the photos were taken. What do they mean by what Bigfoot teams? What do they mean by that? So it says, look, I don't know if the photos are authentic, but at least they are clear this time. For years, we've always seen blurry photos of this elusive creature, but not this time. In Kenny Walker's viral post, he says that the person who had this encounter wishes to remain anonymous, but does say, at first I thought it was a grizzly bear, but once I got a better look at it, I realized it was definitely a Sasquatch. So here it says, update, Mobile County Sheriff just validated photos. The Mobile County Sheriff's Office just validated the photos, and the Finding Bigfoot team has been deployed. The Finding Bigfoot team is not how you find Bigfoot. They never found shit. Here's what some are saying about this reported sighting in Alabama. See, I guess these are some Facebook posts. This person says that's why they closed the lake. South Alabama has everything Bigfoot and leprechauns, I guess. This person says, I told you they out of control out here. So what? We have a problem with a Sasquatch walking along the lake? Is that out of control? Did he loot something? Did he riot? He may take the time here to remind you, not far from here, years ago, someone also thought there was a leprechaun in a tree. So, I don't know. Let me look in chat. Somebody's probably already commented. Somebody probably already knows the results at the end of this. So Mr. Lee says, oh, photo is cool. Well, hold on, Mr. Lee. Hold on. You probably need to hold on. Yeah, a lot of the time, if I'm showing it, because I'm about to show you what was shortly reported afterwards. Definitely a Sasquatch. Grizzly bears in Alabama. Yeah. What, they actually had Bigfoot teams waiting to go when a sighting reported? Yeah, they deployed them. No, I mean he apparently he said, but well, you're gonna see that you need to just throw all that in the trash at this point, though. I think they have a sense of humor. So yeah, I mean, so let's go. A little bit later, says, okay, now Alabama man's Bigfoot sighting prank gets national media coverage, and this is one of the issues with these kind of things. The media, a lot of times they're not doing real journalism anymore, which is hard. It takes time and resources, and you can still get things wrong, but they didn't even ask any questions. They're just like, cool, we're going to report this. And that's kind of what happened here. It says, Kenny Walker from Mobile, Alabama has proven fake news is alive and well. His April Fool's joke has not only gone viral, but it has received national news coverage. From newspapers to TV stations to other radio stations, his story has been picked up nationwide. You may have seen these photos. Kenny decided to post a story about spotting Bigfoot Then the area sheriff's office got in on the fun. So they say here, it says the sheriff's office just validated the photos, and the Finding Bigfoot team has been deployed to Big Lake. A Wilmer man is happy to be safe at home after a scary incident while turkey hunting near Tanner Williams Road. The person who wishes to remain anonymous spotted a Bigfoot in the woods on the water's edge and took these amazing photographs of the beast. At first, I thought it was a grizzly bear, which, as you already pointed out, a grizzly bear in Alabama, what the fuck? But once I got a better look at it, I realized it was definitely a Sasquatch. The Mobile County Sheriff's Department is currently examining these photographs, but they are expected to verify their authenticity soon. Kenny Walker never realized how far his fabricated story would actually go. He was actually shocked. Kenny said, "There must not be any laws against fake news." So here he is saying, "I'm on the news on Tennessee." Kind of that same story told right there in that post. Yeah, so it looks like it was all just one big April Fool's joke. Here it says, "The truth is it was all an April Fool's prank. Even after telling some of these news outlets, they ran with the story. Some didn't even bother to ask any questions. The moral of the story is don't trust everything you read or hear on the news." Kenny Walker said, "It was all intended to be an April Fool's joke in my hometown of Wilmer, Alabama. I posted the pictures that have been circling the internet for years. The photos do have similarities to Big Creek Lake here in Mobile, Alabama. The story went way further than unexpected. Multiple radio stations throughout many states and news reporters ran with the story. I am a prime example that news stations and reporters can and will run a fake story without checking the authenticity or validating that the story is even true or not. We see it every day on our phones and televisions. I want to apologize to my hometown police department and the citizens of Mobile County for wasting their time. Especially, I want to apologize to anyone that was led to believe the story. It is not true. There is no Bigfoot on Big Creek Lake. Please make America great again." So,
DC, we have a guy on the phone now who has an interesting story to tell. His name is Kenny Walker. Kenny, good morning. Welcome to the Stephen DC Show.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
Well, you have stirred up a lot of trouble, young man. Well, look, it was all innocent. Here's the thing. Kenny thought a joke. It'd be a good April Fool's joke several weeks ago to do a Bigfoot sighting. Well, Kenny, take it from there and kind of explain it to everybody listening. What happened?
Well, it was a joke, man, and I was working a lot during April Fool's, and if I'd done it on April Fool's, everybody knew it would have been a joke.
Right.
So I got off work and had a few days off, and I made the post, and I didn't expect it to do what it was going to do, and like it has, took off like a wildfire.
Did you make the post? We're on Facebook?
I put it on Facebook, and I tagged my local sheriff's office in it, and they fired back at me as like a joke. They got me back, and it went viral. And I've been on news stations in multiple states, other podcasts. My nephews are on high alert out here. You know, like they call me thinking they're hearing them in the woods. They don't know that's a joke.
They haven't heard yet. Well, listen, you live, I know, down in the Mobile area, and you claim to have spotted Bigfoot. Where exactly?
It's Big Creek Lake. It's in Wilmer, Sims area.
Yep. That's where I saw it. So as a little bit of a delayed April Fool's joke, You say you spotted Bigfoot on Big Creek Lake down near Mobile. You know, a spotting is no good without pictures. So did you have pictures?
Yeah, there's been some pictures circulating the internet for quite a while, some years now. And I've seen them, and they had similarities to our lake that we fished in Wilmer. So when I posted them, I put Wilmer and Tanner Williams, and it all went together. And I mean, people really believe. Some people believe it. Some people, think it's a joke. So.
But you presented it as if you had spotted this creature. You used old pictures, and you said it was in Wilmer, and you said it was on the Big Creek Lake, and then you started getting calls, and you correct me if I'm wrong, from TV stations in Mobile. I know Channel 5 WKRG, I believe it is, and all these other folks that wanted to use your story. So take us into the whole fake news zone now. How'd that happen?
Man, we previously had a story about a leprechaun in Mobile, and it was for like April Fool's.
Yes, it's one of my favorite stories. Yep.
And they wanted to recreate this and use the Bigfoot, as like something to go off of.
Yes.
And I was fine with it. But again, I'm a prime example that you can take a story and it can be shared on the media, on your Facebook, everywhere, without the media actually validating it and making sure it's true before it's out there, whether it's a joke or not. We see it every day on.
So they didn't present your joke as a joke. They presented it as, they went along with it as a Bigfoot sighting, your pictures and everything?
Oh, yeah, very serious. So, I mean, they took off as it was a true story.
Oh, my God. Oh, my goodness. Did the police get involved?
Oh, they made a Facebook post and fired back at me, and anybody wants to go in there and click on the link, and they'll see their response. But it was just a laughing matter,
So they didn't take it seriously.
No, I haven't been arrested or anything.
Okay. Yeah, the police didn't take it seriously, but the media certainly went with it, knowing it wasn't for real or not even checking it out. But you said they wanted another leprechaun sighting story, basically, on Mobile TV. Which, for those that aren't familiar with that really, it was in Crichton, the neighborhood Crichton there. And in fact, I think I've got some of the news coverage. It's still funny of it. It's still funny. From 2006. Every St. Patrick's Day.
Just in time for St. Patrick's Day, crowds are coming by the dozens to get an up-close view at what some say is a piece of Irish folklore.
Some people in the Crichton area of Mobile say a leprechaun is taking up residence in their neighborhood. A leprechaun. NBC 15's Brian Johnson has more.
Curiosity leads to large crowds in Mobile's.
That's enough of that. So yeah, Ruthless. Yeah, there's plenty of people lying about Bigfoot, and this guy. I guess he, honestly was just playing a prank. But what about the people that are trying to seriously trick people? I get so fed up with them. That's why I was tearing in the Gary the other day, because he keeps repeating this same crap over, and every single chat he's in, Argo. It's always Argo, and he's telling the story as if he's talking to someone, but he's not really. It's kind of weird. And it's almost he's just repeating it over and over again, like he's just trying to make his version of what Bigfoot is catch on, I guess. I don't know. Does he want his version of, because he says it's one creature and its name is Argo, and it's surrounded by other entities, and that's what we need to worry about. None of this, no evidence whatsoever for his claims. And in fact, his claims are so goddamn ridiculous that I wonder if he got out of the loony bin or something. if anyone like actually starts to believe this crap he's talking, I mean, you must be really, really hard up for something to believe in that's I don't know, conforms to your spiritual view or something, because he ties it in with his religion, and then if you start questioning it too much, now you're questioning God, right? You question his story, now you're so basically Gary says that if you question Gary, you're questioning God. I mean, that's what, dude's story is completely nuts. And he just tells it over and over and over again, every chat. And no one's really wanting to, I don't see anyone like eating it up really. I see some people defending him and saying that I'm bullying him or some shit. Fuck you. I'm not bullying. How am I bullying him? I'm here on the other end of the goddamn internet. What am I going to do? Reach through the goddamn screen? And I mean, am I being that threatening or something? I'm not threatening him or anything. I'm not bullying him. I'm just telling him he's goddamn full of shit. And that's free expression. You don't like me telling them what I think, then you're anti-free expression. And you can fuck off. I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to say what I think. Gary keeps on, and it's if he truly believes that nutzoid story, he may need mental help. I mean, that's pretty fucked up. That's just a crazy story. I'm and goddamn shit. Mr. Lee says, Donald, I would love to see that smokehouse. We don't really have them here. Ruthless, I think there are shenanigans. Gary might have mental issues. Yeah. I'm just like, and should I, I don't know. I'm gonna call out bullshit. I can't. When I look at a story like Jay Fritz or Joe's, stories that tell a story. They saw a hairy dude in the woods, and they're not coming at you with, crazy shit like it was surrounded by angels and it's some kind of spiritual entity without any evidence. There's portals, or there's freaking cloaking, or the damn thing's talking to you telepathically. Which that's what that's really called. I don't know why the Bigfoot community calls it mind speak, unless telepathically is too fucking big a word for the Bigfoot community. I don't know. Why the fuck do they call it mind speak? It's telepathic communication or telepathy. Why the fuck does the Bigfoot community call it mind speak? I bet if we traced it back, we would find it was some dumbass, jackass, just moron who came up with that term mind speak, and somehow it caught on. Bigfoot community, I challenge you, call it what it really the fuck is, and stop using the word mind speak. It's a stupid goddamn word. It needs to go. We need, and we need to bully everyone. If motherfuckers want to call it, we're going to bully everyone in the Bigfoot community. Say, look, if you use mind speak, you're identifying as the moron side of the Bigfoot community. Use the word telepathy or get the fuck out. I don't know what to tell you. It's a dumb fuck word. I can't believe we use it. Donald says, Mr. Lee, we got a big operation. They have a lot in their catalog. Huh? Smokehouse? Oh. Angel says, Lockbeard, I think most of us just ignore it. He says the same thing in every chat. That's what I'm talking about. He says it over and over again. So, either he wants a response, and then he whines and he cries about, about me doing it. Why is he doing it? Why is he repeating it over and over again? And then he calls me the troll. Dude, you're the one dropping in every chat telling the same ridiculous goddamn story over and over and over again. That's troll. That's trolling, possibly. I mean, I say let him talk, but let people talk back and say, "Hey, you're telling your story is so goddamn ridiculous. You're either a liar or you're fucking nuts." You know, that's your only options. I see no way in a logical person's mind that story could be reasonably entertained at all. It's just so damn ridiculous. Mr. Lee says Gary is harmless. Let him think what he wants. I don't mind him at all. Yeah, but you usually don't mind everybody. It's too much weed, I think. Well, until that one time. That one time you were kind of losing your shit. I have mental issues. Mental issues. Ernie says, I never know who he is talking to or replying to. He's talking to himself. Like he just drops in and just starts talking to the story as if there's a captive audience, and we're kind of are captive. What I don't understand is why is he showing up in the logical, like at the more logically oriented Bigfoot channels chats? Like he's talking some woo shit. There's plenty of channels he can go and tell woo shit, and they'll just be like whatever. They might even like eat it up. Why is he coming to these chats? And especially when it's he puts a religious spin on it. You know, he's at Joe's chat where he's he's not a religious person. Why is he coming? You know, it's like I kind of wonder if he really is trolling. Like he's doing it on purpose. He knows that this story is going to irk us. I've told him multiple times that it's a ridiculous, dumb fuck story, and he should probably just stop telling it because we've seen it over and over again. We're sick of seeing it. None of us believe that there is just one Sasquatch out there, and his name is Argo, and he's surrounded by demons and angels and shit. None of us believe that shit. I don't think. Hopefully no one believes that shit. Just ignore him. Had a brisket sandwich for dinner. They're a bunch of butthurt babies, Lucky. Am I a good man? I don't know. Maybe not, Sandra. Ruthless says, fuck him on the horse they rode in. And you believe he is? Gary who? Gary Johnson. Mogs. And welcome to the chat. Also, I saw Grass came in. Grasshopper, welcome. And then Sandra, I don't think I welcomed you. Yeah. Yeah, Mogs. I got a little fed up with Gary the other day and kind of tore into him a little bit. Finally, Nikki had to come break up the fight. Call out the bullshit where you see it. Yeah, I mean, it's bullshit. It needs to be called out. Let's everybody say what's up to Mogs. Lockbeard President, don't talk like toward my friend. She has the right to her opinion. Who did I talk to? Angel said, I think he is a lonely old man. I wish he would just drop Argo and talk normal in the chats. Yeah, but everything's Argo over and over again. He insists that there's one Bigfoot. There's not an entire species. And that one Bigfoot's name is Argo. Gary Johnson. I'm tired of being... I've been really nice with this guy. Really. I mean, come on. I really have. He's just over. He repeats Argo over and over again. The whole thing. Harden the fuck up or get the fuck out. Yeah. Harden the fuck. It's the goddamn internet. People are going to say shit you don't like. And, you know, you need to be able to engage in the fight. You know. But when I was engaging him, people were complaining that I was. Someone said I was bullying him. What the fuck ever. The dude comes in the chat over and over again, tells the same story over and over again. Apparently, he wants a response, so I'm giving him a response. What do you want from me? You want me to respond to him the way you tell me to respond? No, fuck that. Ernie says, "Hey, Mogs, have you had your coffee today?" Mogs says, "Ernie, I haven't had coffee for 2 days." Oh shit, that's he's got a caffeine deficiency. Cindy says, "Just because you don't agree with being challenged doesn't mean it's wrong." Donald says, "I got to run to the store. I'll be back. I want my experience remote viewed by someone who says they have the ability. They seem to just want to look for info on it to come up with a narrative." Yeah, it'd be nice to see some really solid proof of remote viewing. And the challenge is always open. Like somebody, like if you think you can remote view, then prove it here. I will designate something for you to remote view, and we'll see if you can do it. Joe show, well, yeah. Grasshopper says, "I never see Gary in chat when people are talking to him, like he's invisible to me." He might be. He might be. You're better off. You're better off. Rutha says, "Thinking what you want is one thing. Spreading bullshit that becomes a cancerous belief is another." Yeah. Well, and that's and that may be part of the reason why I respond so badly to these things. Like, there's been a lot of cancerous beliefs take off. Ideas that didn't exist before, and they now exist. In the beginning of the whole Bigfoot thing decades ago, did you hear the term mind speak? Did you hear anyone tell any portals? Did you hear, cloaking? As time gone on, these things have been added and they just spread like wildfire. And sometimes it gets scary cult-like, like with, Johnson and all that shit. So if you let it go, it could get pretty crazy. So it needs to be engaged. It needs to be fought. So you will be buying something, Donnie. Telepathy. Everybody saying hi. Okay, what story? I came in late. We were talking about the Gary Johnson thing the other night, or are you talking about like the the Bigfoot, so-called Bigfoot sighting that was a April Fool's joke in Alabama? Who says that, and what are they smoking? Who says what exactly? You can be the bigger man. Well, sure. Or I could go for the jugular. See, that's why I like a lot of the Richter stuff. We've seen Richter a couple times this last week on a couple shows, and he's not pulling any punches. He's taking down bullshit. Oh yeah, there's weirder shit. There is. Oh yeah. You haven't heard the Argo story? Well, a lot of us have seen this told, I think, dozens of times at this point for me. Gary comes in the chat, starts telling his Bigfoot encounter, and insists that it's true. That Bigfoot's name is Argo, and it's only one entity. And when he saw, I guess it was surrounded by angels, and there were demons involved, and it's this whole thing. And if I question it too much, he starts saying I'm questioning his God. That's how you strike those deep-seated, faith-based attacks, those angles. That's how the witch trials happened, right? All they had to do was say, it's a witch. It's just some chick that pissed you off. She's a witch. And next thing you know, she's getting burned or something. People get crazy. They're not thinking right. But he tries to do that. He tries to turn it because he's not getting the response he wants. He wants me to just accept his story. Except his story is so freaking ridiculous. It's nuts. Ruther says people need to drop the bias, stop going along to get along. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people feel like doing that. And look, if they want to do that, it's your business. It's your business. But you got to understand, you can't just let shit go. There's got to be somebody that's going to take some shit down and go after these bullshit artists. Otherwise, they'll run rampant. And part of the issue is like a lot of us want, actual strides and actual science to occur and real investigation, not fucking, all these Bigfoot shows, all of them pretty much. All of it. If it's on TV, I'm not talking about YouTube, although a lot of YouTube's bullshit, but finding Bigfoot and all that shit, even Survivor Man. You want me to believe he was mind spoke to and he chose, Richter brought this up the other night and he's absolutely right. It's a cop out. See, he's got to have an excuse why he didn't, why he didn't succeed. He's a Survivor Man. If anyone should be able to find Bigfoot, it should be him, right? No. Yeah, going along to get along. No, that just lets the parasites and the evil fester. The old saying, all the evil needs to triumph is for good men to do nothing. That applies here. So if some people aren't fighters and they want to keep things positive and in their space, fine. But don't get mad at me because I'm out here fighting the fight. I'm reminded remember A Few Good Men. I wish I had that clip, Jack Nicholson character saying, because I know he's supposed to be the bad guy, but he's absolutely the fuck right, because sometimes, you got to do some hard shit to protect the nation. Now, the situation was stupid, but in general, it's correct. Yeah. So questioning the way people are defending your ability to live and speak, be free. You shouldn't. Someone else is fighting for you. Why are you criticizing them? You shouldn't. It's funny because now you're fighting the person who's fighting because you don't like the fact that they're fighting. No, the battle must be fought. It just has to. We can't just let the bullshit artists, the liars, and the hoaxers just run rampant. We need a whole army of people out here tearing this shit apart everywhere we find it. So that's why I really like the fact that Richter was going to go after him no matter what, even when the hosts may disagree on the show. he was wanting to kind of go after it. However, Richter, should I address this issue? Maybe not. Oh my god, a lot nicer than I would be. Yeah, I'm an asshole. Yeah. Gene, I don't know the Gary story either. Yeah, Gary Johnson, man. And and that's the thing. A lot of people aren't really seeing it for some reason, but it's all over, and they'll put it in all caps. And so, like when he does that, a lot of times I'm like, dude, why? You're not asking a question. You're just telling your story in all caps because you're just trying to make us all see it. Which kind of gets us back to that little issue I was having with Richter. I like what he's doing with the Bigfoot stuff, but things got a little off topic, Richter. And look, you had a captive audience. I've seen people do this over and over again. People were there to see those particular shows. They were not there to see certain messaging. People, I don't know how many people jumped out of chat because the subject matter went way. Not only did it go off course, it went into some graphic, explicit stuff that it didn't need to go to. I mean, you might expect that crap on my show, but you don't really expect it on those shows. So, I don't know. I don't know if anyone's going to say it. I'll say it. I'll fucking say it, How these flip each other base internet friends is truly retarded. Fucking sad. Cindy Finn says, I think when it's going on during someone's show, it takes away from Joe and Lee, and that is disrespectful. Scotty says, ruthless, they fucking flip on each other, bro. What chance do the rest of us have? Collectivist populist ideologies grinds my gears. Nobody buys Gary's Kool-Aid. Sun is out. Make like a tree and leave. Mr. Lee says, you believe PG film Lockbeard because it looks kind of fake to me, especially her butt. Just saying. What's everybody's issue with her butt? Why are you looking at Patty's butt, Mr. Lee? I don't know. Look, I'm not 100% on it, of course. I don't think anyone can be 100% on it. On the one hand, we saw where the movie industry was at the time, and I don't think the movie industry could have produced a suit that was capable of looking that real at the time. However, the government is always 1,000 steps ahead of what the general public knows. I think that it's very possible that the government was capable of creating that fake scenario just fine, making a suit that looked realistic enough to pull that off, finding some big ass dude and put him in a suit, and maybe even had the forethought to put some tits on it. These guys are playing, I don't know, 12D chess or some shit. They plan a lot of the bullshit that they do decades ahead of time. Some of the plans may go back to generations. We don't know how organized these people are. I don't know. I know that if I was them, I would certainly be planning things hundreds of years out. This has been, and I think it's possible that the reason why they're kind of screwed up and we're like kind of seeing it and figure out is because they've been, not, they've been forced to adjust the plan here and there because unforeseen things happen or the public response isn't exactly what they think it's going to be, and then the adjustment is not settling well either. And anyway, it's a big convoluted mess of just evil, corrupt assholes running the world. And I think that they possibly would have been capable of definitely creating the suit that they used if it was a suit in the Patty film. But again, that would be a reach to say, well, the government was involved. I don't know. There's no reason for me to think the government was going to fake a big again. And what would their reasoning be for faking Bigfoot? What possible reason could they have? And it could be something that we're not even going to ever be able to guess. But they do shit for distractions all the time, though. So who knows? I mean, there's just so many possibilities. Who the fuck knows? I don't know. I tend to lean towards it's real, but until someone really proves it was fake somehow. How many times I've seen that footage just don't look real to you? Pat was a hypocrite last night, says Batmom. Oh, I saw you saying that in the chat. Daily Dan says, that's what happens when you eat moldy wheat. Did he say Argo or maybe Arga? Perhaps. Getting us back to the witch trials there. I wish I knew where the hell he lived for a 51 check. A 5-1 check? What is that, like is that a police code or something for welfare check? Scotty says, but I don't eat roots and leaves. Well, last night too, that heck. The point I'm becoming cynical. At the point I'm becoming cynical. The one says we can talk about what needs to happen to move the subject along, but people can't be saying what needs to change yet do nothing about it. People need to stop running their flipper lip and get off their ass. Cindy, yep. You want the truth? You can handle the truth. Well, that's not the line I'm talking about. I'm talking about the line about standing on the wall. Or it's pretty long. It's not a short quote. I think most of us here can handle the truth. Ruthless, you do know your movie lines. What's up, Western New York Bigfoot Investigation Group? Just don't see that, mate, says Ruthless. Batman says Uncle Bones. It says hi to you guys. Hello, Uncle Bones, also. Just let you come on this one. Silly group. Joe, good evening. Hey. How far behind in chat am I? The majority of Bigfoot shows are people saying facts without any evidence. Yeah. Well, and that's what and Joe's been kind of going on about this as well. There's people stating things as if they're facts, and they're not facts. They're stating it as if it is. And it's irritating. It's holding back the entire discussion. If everyone would disagree to stick to strict scientific method, everything has to actually be proven before we start running with it. Tree structures, for example. There's people running with tree structures. Why? Has anyone seen a Sasquatch making tree structures? Why would they do that? It just don't, and then like you got people trying to claim there's an EMF field around the structures. It's just like, where are we going with this? It's gotten wild. Joe says, "Fuck me, I can't keep up." Hello, everyone. Yeah, welcome, Joe. The Batman says, "Be right back. My daughter wants me to record her making a music video from some dumb song. Even had to hang up pink material for backdrop." Sandra, I've seen plenty of in 57 years, yes, movies, but it's not the be all and the end all. The screen is long in control of consensus reality. Yeah, good show. Richter is a drama queen. Yeah. How far behind in chat am I? I'm trying to catch up, but let you on. Hold on, people are enchanted by it. Hold on, what time is it? I'm like, Richter gets on your nerves. Why did Pat do the same show that Nikki just did? Yeah. I don't know. I assumed that there was some kind of agreement, but I guess there wasn't. Ruthless says, Scotty, they can have each other. They can all. Why does Pat do any show? Hold on. Let me see if I. Oh, shit. It's going to be like that tonight. I have shit to say. I can't keep typing for various reasons. Hold on. Invite guests to. Yeah. We'll see if this works, Joe. I don't normally. I'm just gonna put it in chat. My internet is pretty crappy. But we'll try. Where am I at in chat? Kidding. Moses, I was going to ask if he was talking about Pat, the one-hit wonder. But I'm triggered. You're triggered. Don't be triggered. Yeah, I don't know how far behind. I'm pretty far behind in the chat, but I'd put it in the chat. So hopefully he eventually stop and pay attention to the chat. Well, I'm just behind in the chat. Just behind. Sorry, you know me. This phone. Hey, Meredith, welcome. Doesn't need to exist. Plain as that. Doesn't matter to the rest of the issues being researched. I don't see. Oh, me. I don't see Joe popping up. Did he leave already or something? Because I'm like, I tell you, if someone starts selling fake, I run to see it because 99% of the time it is real. But then I am a knower, says Gene. Welcome, Gene. I don't know if I said that. And I don't need science to tell me what is real and what isn't science. Can't agree on one thing. There's Nikki. She says, what up, you weirdos? Did Joe leave? I don't see Joe. Well, maybe the link. Did the link? Oh, I see what happened. Dang it. All right. Now the link should be in chat. Son of a bitch. We'll try it, Joe. I don't know how well my internet's going to hold up. Almost got upset about that, but I held it together. I'm trying, Mr. Lee. No link showed up. Yeah, it should be. It's there now. Hey, there's Joe. Joe!
Hey.
What's up?
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I hear you. Welcome.
Are you getting any feedback?
Nope, no feedback.
Oh, fuck, man. It's working through my speaker then. What the fuck? That's cool. That's cool. Hey, everybody. Check it out. I've made it. I finally made it. I'm on freaking LOCKBEARD Phenomena.
Oh, no, that's
done, man.
Minor channel.
I've made it. Hey, look, man. You of all people, man, LOCKBEARD, you should understand where the hell I'm coming from, and I know you do. I know you do, man. All these people out here stating shit like it's fact, and fucking Bigfoot's 6,000 years old, and Bigfoot's 225 years old. And look, man, hey, these guys, they might be the nicest people in the world, but you cannot state that shit as fact. Bigfoot ain't talking to you in your head, man. And if he is, I don't know what to say about that. I really don't. People are clutching at straws, man, and that shit about Richter, man. Look, I like Richter, and Richter's right about a lot of stuff, but he's not right about everything, man. He's not right about everything. Not everybody in this freaking thing is liars and hoaxers, man. You do have plenty of them. I do agree with that. Absolutely. There's a bunch of them out there that I'm like, you're full of shit. But he includes everybody in that now because he's been hurt, man. And I'm sorry for that. I like Richter, and I'm his friend, but he's got to let that shit go and get in with the right people, man.
Yeah.
Get in with the right people, not those people. And he can't include everybody, man. He was talking about Steve Coles, man. And look, I will tell you right now, my opinion, Steve Coles is upright, man. He's not a hoaxer. He's not a liar, man. He's got integrity. And I know Richter's all butthurt because of Russell, and he's including people, he needs to get over that shit, man, and not include everybody in there because Steve's never done anything to Richter. He's just mad because he thinks Steve was involved in, like, oh, he knows all this other stuff and he's lying about it. No, he's not. Steve straight out told what went on. I saw that whole thing, man, about Russell Accord and Bob Gimlin and all that. So, moving on. As far as that PG film goes, people keep talking about that shit. Look, I could give two shits about the PG film, man. It is what it is. It was filmed in 1967. If it's a Bigfoot, it's a Bigfoot. If it's not, who gives a shit, man? It doesn't matter. You know what? Yeah, I'm one of the people that say, I think it's a Bigfoot. Could I be wrong? Yeah, I could be wrong about a lot of shit. I'm wrong about a lot of shit all the time. But even if tomorrow that it was proven that Roger Patterson and freaking Bob Gimlin and all them guys hoaxed all that shit, it still wouldn't make a difference to me. Because even if that happened, that doesn't make what happened to me out in the woods any less real than it is. So all that shit, look, the film is a good film, I think, my opinion. But it no longer has any more information to give me. So let's put that shit aside, man. It's done. It's done. Stop with the freaking Bigfoot, Patterson, Patty. It's done. It's history. People keep hashing that shit. And that's why all this craziness keeps going on. People keep arguing about the same stupid shit, man. Oh, is it real? Is it not real? Well, it's not real. I see a zipper. I see the butt's wrong. Fuck you, man. Fuck you. Just move the fuck on, man. I'm sorry. This is not. put your little thing up on there that explicit language possible. Yeah, man. I mean, just move the hell on, dude. It's craziness. It's craziness with that shit, man.
Yeah. People keep asking, and with this supposed new found old film, or I don't know what to make of that.
What does it matter? That's my asking. What the fuck does it matter? Does it give you any more answers about what Bigfoot is? Does it give me any more answers about what the hell that was that I saw in the woods in August of 2020 that fucking scared the living shit out of me? No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
So
it's a good film.
Do you think you really found some old film, or the old film, or is this another bullshit angle for clicks or?
Yeah, look, it probably. Look, all that shit, and there again, like I said, man, I will give credit where credit's due. There is probably right there. Richter's probably right. I mean, with all of those Bigfoot superstars, come on, man. It's like, what are they? They're just gonna keep perpetuating their shit. So, I've got a big secret, but I'm not gonna reveal it until such and such a time. Bullshit, man. What? Don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. But you are people, man. That's why I wanted to get on here, dude. I'm not taking up too much of your time, but
hey, you take up all you want.
You should know it, man. You are the same way, man. You know what? I watch your shows all the time, and you're the same way. Look, you cannot just spout this bullshit and just expect everybody to swallow it. Yeah, some people will, man. And look, some of these people, they have lots and lots of followers. And you see all the comments. Oh, that's great. Look at this with Mark Zasky. I'm going to call out names. Fuck this. I'm tired of it. Mark Zasky with all his freaking pareidolia bullshit, man. Oh, this is a freaking Floridonus prognostic fucking what the fuck ever, dude. You don't know taxonomy and you're naming shit, right? And with your freaking bullshit pareidolia shit, man. Oh, he's a really big Sasquatch, but you still see people follow. Oh, that's great. Look at that. That's wonderful. What a great capture.
They just eat it up. Just eat it up.
They do, man. And it's like, oh, for real?
It's maddening to me because if you took all the money that went to people like that and put it into real research, we might actually accomplish something.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, it's not, look, I say it all, look, it's not going to be done by someone like me. This is a hobby for me, man. It's always been a hobby for me. I've got another life, man. Bigfoot's not my entire life. I've been consumed by it for a long time, but I keep it in its place. Now, true, I'm a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm a little more adamant about it after August 2020 because that just freaked me out. So, so I'm a little more like, I got to get out there. But, there's a time and a place for it, man. And you know what? If that thing is still out there where it's at, if I keep going, eventually, hopefully, maybe I'll see it again. I don't know. I have no idea. But I'm going to try. But it's not going to be done by people like me. And there are good researchers out there that those are the ones that are going to do it. Those are the ones that are going to do it. I think somebody like Matt from Central Florida Bigfoot, man, I think he's probably going to end up being one of the guys. If anybody ever gets anything that matches the PG film or better, it might be Matt. Because that guy is dedicated with his cameras, man. He knows more about freaking filming and cameras than I'll ever freaking know, man. I look like a dude with palsy out there when I'm doing the camera. But, at least I got a new camera with a stabilizer now, but yeah.
I don't even
But-
got that. I'm just trying to figure out if I can justify the expense. Because
Right.
I haven't seen this thing in my entire life. I've been up in some deep woods, looking for other stuff, doing other things, gold prospecting, catching reptiles, hunting mushrooms, just everything else but looking for Bigfoot. And you would think I would have accidentally run across it at some point.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
But go ahead.
No,
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I'm done.
Oh.
Go ahead.
No, but yeah, I mean, well, you hear that all the time, man. I know hunters be like, yeah, Bigfoot, and it, it's like, and I know, close friends that are hunters, and they're like, and I tell them, I was like, look, dude, you can laugh, but I've seen one. I know they're out. They're real, man. There's one. They're out there.
Yeah,
and they'd be like, well, I've never seen one. I said, but you haven't been looking for one either.
Yeah,
you haven't been paying attention. When you go out hunting, you're looking for the animal you're hunting for. You're not paying attention to anything that might point to Bigfoot.
And that's
even though I'm not sure exactly what might point to Bigfoot other than tracks.
Yeah, and that's true. It's. I'm not saying it in the sense that it must not be out there. I'm saying it in the sense of how much can I justify spending time looking for something when I was out there looking for the tiny little things. You think if there was a footprint anywhere, I would have saw it or something. But, how much can I justify putting into a search? And then what? I saw it. Am I going to get footage? And then is everybody going to deny it? It's real too.
Right.
Point.
Right. And well, that's the problem with footage, man. It's like anybody, if you get good footage, even if it's, although I got to agree with Doug Highcheck, man. If somebody ever gets really good footage, National Geographic quality fucking footage that's more than just a few seconds long of Sasquatch or a group of Sasquatch doing their shit, National Geographic kind of shit. And if you've got that film and you might have footprint evidence where they left their footprints, and you might even get some, if they left any hair DNA behind, and if they were actually making any noises and you got them on the recordings with the noises, that's a perfect storm of evidence. That's kind of like something, you can't fucking deny that's real, But it's hard to get. I mean, come on, man. I mean, everything's got to be perfect in order for you to get all that shit. And so far, nobody has, man. Nobody has.
And if they have, of course, this is all the conspiracy that, some government agents show up, grab all the evidence, tell you to put a cork in it. I have a hard time believing that. I have a hard time believing that the government, with all their technology and endless resources, they just print money when they need more. That they haven't been able to, because they can see large animals from space, and I don't know. I have a hard time believing they don't know they're there.
Yeah.
And if they know they're there, if we run with that, not saying it's 100% fact, because we don't want to do that, but if they know they're there and they're not telling us, what's their reason for not telling us? And how are they going to try to keep it secret? If they're keeping a secret, they're, how far were they willing to go to keep a secret? Well, they kill people, at times.
At times, man. Look, I was in the military. I'm familiar with the government. I don't know how much they know about these things. I wouldn't be surprised if they know a lot more than what I think, other than, beyond that, they know they exist. So whatever they might know, other than that, I don't know. But I don't put it past it. You say the government knows they exist. Maybe they do. I can't see that they wouldn't know something about it. Just like UFOs, man. Come on. They knew about those. So same thing goes with Bigfoot.
Yeah.
As far as reasons why they don't want anybody to realize, well, there's a lot of them. Now you hear people bring up the forestry thing. You know, it put a big curtail on the lumber industry. And that's probably true to some point, because once they find out that those things are out there, man, they would have to be like set aside, you know, and say, look, you can't. So that's one thing. The big thing, though, is, man, come on. And this is coming from, I'm sorry, folks. I don't fault anybody for what they believe in. But as far as the religious shit goes, man, it would totally turn that shit on its head. Yeah. For people to realize that Bigfoot is real. That would totally oh my God, dude. That would almost be finding out for a fact that Jesus was married and had children.
Oh,
you know, I mean,
yeah,
it would be an astronomical thing. And so, what is this country based upon? Everybody wants to say it's a Christian country. It's not really.
No, absolutely.
But there are a lot of them here. You know, it's the majority.
That's the difference. That's the difference. And I've been in this argument many times, or I've had people, they insist it's a Christian country, and I said, so if what you're saying is true, then this isn't a constitutional republic, which that gets a blank stare alone if you don't say democracy, right? You think it's a theocracy,
right? Exactly,
and
exactly, and that's what they want it to be, is a theocracy, man. And it's true. People don't understand that too about democracy. Blah 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 blah. And it's like, well, we're not. We're a democratic republic. You know, this is a republic. It's not a look. The only people that even came close to being a true democratic society were the Greeks. They invented that shit, basically.
Where are they now?
Or they tried to protect it or perfect it. But I mean, that's as close as you come to true democracy. So we are. I'm sorry. We're a representative. That's it. We are a representative republic.
My favorite definition I ever heard for democracy was 2 wolves and 1 sheep voting for what's for dinner.
There you go. There you go. Hence, why I don't usually talk about politics, because I don't like any politicians, man. I don't give a shit what party you're from. I don't care who you voted for. Politicians are just, I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, Independent, whatever, dude. You're human. You are out for what you can get for yourself, dude. And if you can get into politics, lots of people learn, man. Oh God, I can make lots of money being a politician. Sorry, dude. None of them are out for looking out for you, really. If by some circumstance, some of the things they do help out you, that's fine. But they want to keep a hold of their power and their money, no matter what party they're in, dude. And I don't trust politicians, period. I don't trust any of them.
Yeah. Same here. I mean, occasionally I come across one I think is the real deal. Like, I thought Ron Paul was the real deal.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying some of them can't be really cool people, and somebody I would be like, hey, dude, I wouldn't mind drinking a beer with them or something. But
they didn't,
you know, and that goes to both sides, man. I don't give a shit. I mean, I know people that are Republicans. They vote Republican. I don't give a fuck. I'm still friends with them. I don't give a shit, because I don't talk about my politics. Well, my politics is no politics, really. You know, I mean, so I don't give a shit whether you're a Democrat or Republican. You know, but
you're right. That would turn the nation on its head, though. I mean, because it's the religious implications of the discovery of Sasquatch, and I think that's why we see some people that they are trying to craft the narrative that Sasquatch is Nephilim, that they're the angels or fallen angels and all that, because it ties it into their religious belief, and now it makes it okay for Sasquatch to be there.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what's really going on in their heads, but
Yeah.
they certainly are doing that. Some of them.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, and that's one of the things that really just drives me crazy, man. And when somebody starts talking like that, like, oh, they're Nephilim and this and that, dude,
How do you know?
I'm like, I'm abandoning that conversation, man. I'm like, dude, I don't even have nothing to say to you. Sorry, I just don't. Nephilim, come on, man. There's no proof that any of that is even true either.
Yeah. Well, and that's my point about all this stuff. Like, okay, you say Sasquatch is telepathic. Well, prove to me telepathy is true by itself between like humans or something.
Sasquatch is not telepathic.
You know, prove to me portals. Prove to
Shut
me
up, man. No, I'm kidding.
You know, portals, cloaking, all that stuff. I haven't seen any of that proven in any other creature or between humans. You know, so but it's conveniently being attached to Sasquatch because they're telling a bullshit story anyway. They might as well like rub some more funk on it.
Sure.
So that's how. And people try to criticize me.
I like what you just rub some more funk on it. That's right.
Rub some more funk on it. I've been criticized for when I hear like encounters, like I put them in separate, you know, folders in my head. You know, if you got all that crazy stuff in there, I'm like, well, this is way less likely to be true, so I'm not going to put a lot of attention on it necessarily.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's some pretty wild stories, and I mean, why should I waste a lot of time on those stories when none of that stuff pans out? But a story like yours, where you basically just ran across a big hairy dude on a hunting trip, and you pissed him off.
That's fucking, dude, pretty close. And Jen did a great job on this, man. And that's pretty much close, man. I mean, seriously, that's pretty much, I mean, barring an actual photograph that would show you exactly, that's pretty fucking close, dude. And I don't know what the fuck that thing is, but it looks like what I would call a Sasquatch, man.
Yeah.
Because I don't know any 7.5 foot tall, hairy ass, fucking ugly ass basketball players that have been kicked off the team and fucking decide to go live in the woods.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but still, you know, I mean, even so, man, I mean, I still see the side where I understand why the people outside of this that I see why they see it. So they find it all so ridiculous, man. Yeah. You know, and that's why I said, man, on that one show I did, man, it's like when people laugh about it, you know, and if they want to ridicule you because you've seen one and you know that you've seen, and you know, but they want to ridicule, just laugh along with them. Be like, yeah, that does sound pretty fucking ridiculous, doesn't it? Imagine that. Bigfoot, big hairy ass naked dude in the woods chasing deer. You're right. Sounds fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it's a far more believable story. Yeah, it's a far more believable story. It's just I don't know why some people want to believe portals, cloaking, and telepathy. And I don't completely discredit that stuff. It's just that I haven't seen evidence of those things.
No.
You know, and I'm not saying it's not possible they could exist, but it's a stretch.
But they don't. Well, now of course you're going to get people to argue, well, if they're aliens.
Oh,
I was just, you know what? They're living in the freaking woods, dude, and they're hunter gatherers. I mean, they don't have technology, man. I mean, we don't even know. I suspect, this is just a hypothesis. I have no idea if this is true, but if they're anything close to what I think they are, and they're hunter gatherers, obviously they have to be with their lifestyle. That I think when it comes to big game, although I did not see them holding anything, I think they probably use shit like spears, man, when it comes to a big game. You know, I can't prove any of that. That's true. But that's, you know, when it comes down to it, you know, they have to be. And I lost my train of thought, bro.
Spears or not spears?
But no, I mean, it would make sense to me, man. You know, but I'm not going to be like stating that, well, you know what? When Bigfoot goes out hunting, you know, they coordinate their hunts by, you know, this, and then they spear the shit out of a deer, you know, and then they break its neck, you know, just to make sure it's dead. I mean, that's like that dude who was telling me that there's three. Well, not telling me personally. I watched the thing. There's 3 types of Sasquatch, and the most common is the Gigantopithecus Sasquatch, which is descended from Gigantopithecus blackie. And this guy's stating all this is fact, man. And I'm like, dude, that's a null hypothesis of Jeff Meldrum, dude. And you just took it and made it into a fact, dude.
Yeah, I would bet that the person saying that doesn't actually believe Sasquatch exists. He's just making the most elaborate, trying to sound smart and make it more interesting. And there's people out there eating it up. You know, I don't think the Gigantopithecus is remotely part of this whole thing.
I don't either.
From the descriptions that
I used to. At
one point, because you know they were presenting it that way, and I was like, "Hey, that sounds like it could be legit." But when you look closer, like they really don't have much evidence for this thing. And then what they do have, it seems to be it's an orangutan type thing. And what I see people, well, if the PG film's real, what I see there is not an orangutan. And what people describe is not orangutan, especially when you're describing, you know, it's upright. The footprints are clearly very, very human. The nose description, a lot of people saying they look straight up Native American or Caucasian in their face.
Yeah. Well, this guy, other than that, Rasta, I mean, it could kind of look kind of Native American too. This was kind of weird. But yeah, man, I mean, they're just like, he doesn't look like an orangutan. But I gave the Gigantopithecus null hypothesis a shot. I was like, I gave it some, you know, hey, it's a possibility. It sounds good to me, you know, and until I actually had that encounter, man, I was like, there's no way, dude. There's no way this thing branched off of Gigantopithecus. There's no way, dude.
I think
it's gotta be some other kind of relic hominid.
Yeah.
It's gotta be.
I think that whole orangutan thing was I guess it was a little popular to depict because I'd seen some artist interpretations of pre-humans that had orangutan like features in their image, which don't make any sense because we should look more like, you know, chimp than a orangutan. But they put that in their artist interpretation. I'm like, why are they making a pre-human look like an orangutan? That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, that's true because like we separated from gorillas and orangutans like way earlier than we separated from chimps. So like people don't understand how that all that branches out if you don't study it, and I get it. But we all had a common ancestor that was neither human nor an ape. And at one point, you know, a branch came off of that and it started to, they evolved into what we now have as gorillas. Some evolved into what we now have, the species of orangutans. The other branch went off and then evolved into what is known as the Australopithecines, which gave rise to chimpanzees and us. We split from chimpanzees about 7 million years ago. Somewhere in that mix, man, somewhere in there, Sasquatch fits. And I'm thinking it's right around somewhere the last, well, not the last common ancestor, because I'm probably wrong about this, but, you know, fucking, like I said, man, Homo erectus, dude, I think it made it over here to this continent. Doesn't make any sense that it would make Homo erectus would make it everywhere else in the world, even islands, and not be able to do the same thing as a lot of other species did and cross over into this continent at the same time. 100,000 years ago, Homo erectus was still existing. Now, that was their thing about Gigantopithecus being a possibility. 100,000 years ago, could have crossed Bering Strait. Yeah, well, so could have Homo erectus.
Yeah.
And once it got here, it evolved into what we now know as Sasquatch. And then when Homo sapiens left Africa and evolved and moved into Asia and Europe and all that other shit, and they finally made it to here and became the First Nations, guess what? Sasquatch was already here because Homo erectus was already made it here. And you have all these freaking legends and lore from the First Nations about Sasquatch. Every single one of them, just about. Now, there's variations about their relationships with said Sasquatch, but almost every single one of them will tell you they were here before we were. And that's what Walter told me. Also, he said they've been here the whole time. They were here before we were.
Yeah. Now, I don't know how familiar you are with the evidence that before, because Native Americans, or who we call Native Americans now, came somewhere 10 to 13, somewhere in there, 1,000 years ago.
They've pushed that back, way back. We're looking at probably 25,000 years ago, at least.
Well, have you ever heard of the Solitrian hypothesis?
Yep. Yeah.
Now that, so what I'm saying there is that those people.
I think you're pronouncing that wrong, though, man. I think it's Solitrian.
Well, yeah, I do. You get the wrong emphasis sometimes.
The wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Yeah. And a lot of times I try to remember it, from my scientific training, to do it right. And then, like, even with psilocybin, I should pronounce it psilocybin, but I'm used to because everyone pronounces it psilocybin.
Psilocybin, yeah, you're right. I do too. Yeah.
But anyway, what I'm saying is because you're talking
about the Solitrian, yeah.
Those people before were not the same people as the Native Americans.
Possibly not.
That because when they were looking at like the types of artifacts and how the technology compares with Europe instead of Asia, and the skeletons that they found, like the Kennewick Man case, where that skeleton had Caucasian features, 9,000 years old, and things like the story that the Paiutes, because when if we want to look at Native American stories, the Native Americans told a story about a red-headed tribe of people they didn't like, and they killed them all. They ran them into the cave, they lit a fire and suffocated the last of them in the cave. And then guano miners found 9,000-year-old Caucasian skeletons in that cave.
Yeah.
So
did you know?
Really interesting. This history is way more complicated. I think the oldest possible human habitation site's like 130,000 years ago in America. If I recall.
Yeah, I know they've been pushing it back and pushing it back and pushing it back. They're finding that humans were probably here a lot earlier than Homo sapiens anyway, were here a lot earlier than what people what was originally thought. What was originally thought, man. And
So
you know,
Sasquatch could have popped out anywhere in there.
absolutely, absolutely. That's why I'm so into anthropology and paleoanthropology, because I think it goes hand in hand, really, with this Sasquatch mystery. Myself,
Yeah, I think that's the eye we have to look at it with, because what I see in Sasquatch, it's the best information I got. Again, descriptions, photographs that might be real. I don't know how much of it's really real, but if I'm going to judge what it is based on this, it is a very, very human thing. For it to have these characteristics, I mean, it's basically just a human that's big and hairy. And
right,
it's smart enough to steer clear of us most of the time. So that
right.
indicates the intelligence factor is there as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, you know what? All the human species, you cannot take away their intelligence. All the human species, and that's all of them. Every species that belongs in the Homo genus was intelligent. I mean, if you look at, I mean, even if you want to consider, although there's some argument now that Homo habilis should be included in the Australopithecines instead of being the first, basically, because Homo habilis was like considered the first actual human. But so there's some argument there. But even still, they made tools, and Australopithecines did. They made tools. Now, when you get into things like and in the evolution, and you get into like when you get up to Homo erectus, you know, they made some intricate, I mean, very detailed freaking. Their flint napping was like, dude, I can't do that. That takes a lot of dedication and a lot of practice and a lot of intelligence to be able to flint nap. Because you can't just like, oh, I'm just, you know, maybe early on the Australopithecines were like, well, if I break this rock, now I got a sharp edge, fine. But it started to develop from there, right? And so by the time you got to Homo erectus was making, you know, fucking very effective spearheads, arrowheads, axes, you know, which is a new thing that I've found out, that they're starting to see where Homo erectus may have actually used, because they've actually found like flint napped that look like arrowheads. Now, why would Homo erectus use or make something like that looks like an arrowhead if they weren't using arrows, right?
Yeah. We're probably underestimating a lot of the ability, because look what how they portrayed Neanderthals. They portrayed Neanderthals as these
Being dumb brutes.
But we now know that they were. I mean, knowing that they crossed with us, they were the same species as us, but they also had larger cranial capacity too. And that's
absolutely, absolutely. They may have thought their abstract thinking was probably a little different than ours. But as far as intelligence goes, they were just as intelligent as Homo sapiens. As a matter of fact, now in most places, most scientific areas, most of them actually agree. They're actually retermed them in and they are now known as Homo Neander or Homo sapiens neanderthalensis.
Yeah, subspecies. I've seen it in one place, and I'm glad to find it, because I've been screaming this for a long time, ever since that, because you know my problem with a lot of, like, I think anthropologists are really quick to want to name a new species. I think we've labeled a bunch of crap as separate species that really aren't.
That might be the same species. Yeah.
I mean, because once I think our true our true divergence was at the point with the chimpanzee common ancestor. And after
Yeah.
that, because we were getting around the world so much, we were gene mixing so much. Now we changed over time in general, and there were little pockets here that were a little different, and but we have different pockets that are different now. I mean, I've
Yeah.
worked with some Southeast Asian guys that were like, 4'5". They were
Right.
all short. And I look at them and I'm thinking, all right, I'm 5'9". This guy's 4'5". And these hobbits, these Homo floresiensis they discovered here in Southeast Asia were like 3 foot or so.
Yeah. Yeah, tiny little the Hobbit.
So,
Yeah.
So I'm seeing this guy about halfway between me and the Hobbit. I hate to use the word Hobbit, but that's what they're calling them.
Well, that's what they call Floresiensis is Hobbit. Yeah.
And I'm thinking that they didn't die out; they got blended in. I can't prove that. I can't prove that. That's my hypothesis.
Right. Right.
But
I mean, if you think about it, man, Neanderthalensis, they didn't really go extinct either. They were absorbed and blended into Homo sapiens.
Exactly. That's why I say
because we carry their DNA.
That could not have happened if they were a separate species.
Some people in Asia have Denisovan now. They found out DNA.
Yeah.
So it was a boink fest going on over there, dude. Homo sapiens were fucking everybody, man. They were fucking Neanderthals. They were fucking Denisovans. They were probably fucking Heidelbergensis. Although there's some talk about Heidelbergensis gave rise to Neanderthal in Europe, but now they're saying Heidelbergensis may have actually been more of an archaic Neanderthal, same species, But Homo sapiens, we left out of Africa from the Homo erectus that didn't leave Africa, and we arose there. We left out of there, dude, after everybody else had already done that. We left out of there and spread out, and then we just started fucking everybody, man, and interbreeding. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and if we see that we know now that Neanderthals crossed back in with us, then Heidelbergensis was not a separate species either from us, from our line. Right. It couldn't have been because, I mean, why would it be a separate species and then not? That don't work. And like ergaster, no.
Well, ergaster is really Homo erectus.
Yeah.
But they were saying Homo ergaster was Homo erectus in Asia, but it's the same species.
It is the same species.
Yeah, it's the same species.
They're just two. Everyone wants to make their mark, and I think that all these things were part of the same species group, and that we need to do some renaming. Now, again, there needs to be a lot more science done and stuff like that. But I just think there's egos, there's books to be written, there's a name to make for ourselves, and there's ambition. Yeah. I want to name a species one day. I'll probably never get the chance.
Hey, man, like I said, dude, if I ever see another one again and I can get some, and I can prove it, even though I don't care about proving that they're real, really. I just want answers from myself. But, hey, dude, I'm all behind you, man. I love that name. That's a great taxonomic name.
My name's
Yep. That's a perfect taxonomic name,
Homo sapiens salisburyensis.
That's right.
No, I'll probably have to name a freaking slug or something.
That's right.
But I mean, this age thing, like who was saying that age thing? They get thousands of years old.
I shouldn't mention his name. I don't really want to throw him under the bus by his name, but look, I meant to put the link up on after my show so that whoever wants, because it's on Facebook, and it's, if you go to a site, I don't know if is it, I don't think it's a private group. It's a page that my buddy from New York Bigfoot Society started. It's called Bigfoot and Friends. And this guy is part of that group, and he posts on there all the time. And he posted this thing on there, dude. And it's supposed to be this recording of Bigfoot talking, and you can hear him in the thing say, "How old are you?" And then there's a section that he highlights that, to me, it's just a whole bunch of garbled background noise. I don't hear any voices or anything that sounds like what he said. He said, you can very clearly hear them say 6,000 years old. And I'm like, oh, dude, really? Oh, my God, no. It's not even close. It's just all that is background garbled. Send it to somebody. Send it to an expert and ask them what they hear in there. And they'll tell you what's in there. Send it to somebody who knows that shit. Send it to Curious Cryptid. Send it to Chris Spencer. Send it to any audio guy that is an expert in audio and knows, dude, I'm telling you, that was just ridiculous, man. 6,000 years old. Now, and whether people are like, well, maybe he meant that that's how old the species. I'm like, dude, species or individual, dude. Individual, there ain't no Sasquatch going to live to 6,000 years old. Species-wise, they've been around a hell of a lot longer than that. Guaranteed they've been around a hell of a lot longer than 6,000 years. And Lay said it best. She's like, and besides, why would Sasquatch talk in our terms? Like, which calendar do they use? Do they use the Julian calendar? Do they use the... I mean, why would they put it in our terms? And, because...
I don't see any reason why not that I'm not trying to, but 6,000 years kind of, it's a little out there, but I don't see any reason because they watch this.
Say it right, say it true. It's bullshit, Lockbeard.
I think that they watch us. I don't know. Again, I really don't know what I'm saying here, but what I think is they're smart enough and they watch us enough that they probably know a lot more. It would surprise us how much they know.
Yeah, if they can talk to us. I'm not even sure that they can talk to us, dude. Now, there's some indications. I don't know. Like I said, I take shit with a grain of salt. My friend Walter, man, I respected that man. He had a wealth of knowledge. He told me a lot about Bigfoot from the point of view of the Senecas. But still, man, some of it I take with a grain of salt. Now, he said that they had a language. If they're anything like I think they are, then I can put that. I can't put that beyond. Yeah, I think maybe they do have a language. If they have a developed hyoid like we do, which they could have. Homo erectus did. Homo erectus definitely had language and could speak. So, can Sasquatch speak? Possibility, yes. Are they speaking English? Got to prove it to me. He said that some of the Sasquatch, some, not all. He said some were able to learn the Iroquois language.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's a possibility.
Yeah, but I don't find those claims ridiculous that they can learn English, Iroquois.
No, I don't find them totally ridiculous. You still have to prove it to me though.
Yeah,
because I've never heard one speak.
It's just not one of those claims that I'm going to dismiss pretty quickly. Like 6,000.
Not like the telepathy shit. No.
Yeah, or telepathy or any of that stuff. I mean, I'm not totally dismissing any of that stuff. I think there is room within science for a lot more than we think. But I don't want to give these people. I don't want to give these people too much to run with. You still got to prove telepathy is real, portals are real, and
how you gonna do that? Right? Yeah, there's the rub. How are you gonna do that?
And that's very convenient, isn't it?
You can't really. Absolutely convenient.
It's kind of
Because you
like
can't prove telepathy is real. Can't prove it.
if they could, they would. I would think.
If they could, they would have already.
Because all you gotta do is start talking. Anyone that knows who can engage in telepathy could talk to me right now. I'm not hearing anything.
Absolutely.
You know, it's just so that's where maybe there's some maybe there is some communication possible, but it's just not. It's not something that's really supposed to happen. So it's not real clear. It's really faint. It's really subtle. I don't know. I'm willing to consider that. But people like Survivor Man, getting this very clear message that, hey, we're up over the next couple hills.
Yeah, see, the cheese slid off his cracker on that one for me, man. I mean, I really liked him. I still do. I still like Les. But when he went from just being curious and trying to figure it out, I thought, this is great, man. Survival guy out there, had some weird things happen. He wants to find out what it is. When all of a sudden he started that, I'm like, oh my God, your cheese done slid off your cracker now, bro.
Yeah, he should have kept it
where it was. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, some people think my cheese has slid off. I mean, people outside of this already think my cheese slid off my cracker because I just say Bigfoot's real and I've seen one. But look, I am here to tell you and assure everybody my cheese is still on the cracker. It might be sliding towards the edge, but it hasn't slid off completely yet. Slid off completely yet.
No, I don't think it has.
Mr. Lee said, some people say Sasquatch understand all languages. Okay, where did they come up with that data? Where's the data that shows that? Where is the data?
We need evidence for that. Now,
say anything you want.
Yeah. And again, like, I don't want people to think my mind is completely closed to telepathy. I mean, potentially, if there is a race of people in the woods who have mastered telepathy, maybe it's they're very well bred for it or whatever, and they're talking to you directly to your mind, and language wouldn't matter anymore.
Right.
Potentially. But again, you got to prove this stuff to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see any evidence for it.
Yeah. No. Well, and that's the thing, man. And look, I keep saying it, man. Open mind is fine, just not so open that your brain slips out.
Yeah.
You don't want your brain to fall out, so don't make it so your mind is so open that your brain fucking falls out onto the ground, dude. And I know people say that all the time, but look, you gotta call bullshit when it's bullshit, dude. Yeah. And so far, everything about telepathy is bullshit.
Yeah.
That I can see. If you prove something, dude, I will change my mind quicker than I change my underwear, dude. If you show me that I'm wrong, I got no problem being wrong. And if you show me that Sasquatch uses telepathy and Sasquatch has the technology for a cloaking device and they got technology to open up portals, then I'll be like, son of a bitch, I was totally wrong. This thing is like nothing that I know. Now
this here Judy's saying, I don't know if she realizes, like she says, you won't get science to quantify anything. Now, this is where things could get interesting with field theory. And, you've probably heard me mention Ken Wheeler many times. And, he talks about fields, and you can't quantify a field. There's no way. It's something you can't quantify. And science wants to quantify everything. And unfortunately, when you get down to fields, you just can't. So if we're talking about something that's, in that realm of existence, then yeah, we're going to have a problem quantifying it.
Right. Absolutely. I agree with that. Yeah.
We have to try. I mean,
Yeah.
we still got to try and prove it somehow, though. And
Yeah. You know, that's the thing, man, is yeah. But if
I don't know how we do, but we got to.
I don't know, man, but you know, if Bigfoot is that, if that's what Bigfoot is, man, I mean, how? I mean, it's like, dude, there's just so much shit that you can say, yeah, look, there's so much unanswerable shit, but everything has an answer. I firmly believe that there is an answer for everything. And the things that you can't get an answer to, then they don't exist. They don't exist, man. If you think about it, and go back to Star Trek. Kieran Cathal's first rule of what was it called? Something was that nothing unreal exists. Period. Nothing unreal exists. And you stem from there. And if you can't prove it, like somebody I watch all the time says the same thing. If you can't show it, you don't know it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not. I don't think I'm. What race was that quote from Star Trek? I'm not.
He was a Vulcan.
It's okay.
Yeah, he was one of their. He was one of their Vulcan. The Vulcan masters or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. I don't recall that one, but yeah.
If you Google nothing unreal exists, it'll bring it right up, and it'll
Was it original series or?
Yes,
it was. That's why, because I never could. I have a hard time sitting through original series.
I loved it, man. I grew up on that shit, man. That shit.
Yeah,
I love it. Kirk lost and ripped his shirt almost every episode.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
You got to do that. Next Generation was kind of when I was growing up, so
I like the Next Generation.
The one I'm kind of most familiar with, I think. But
I like the Next Generation. That was cool. But yeah, nothing unreal exists, man.
Nothing unreal. So this guy's probably gonna write a book pretty soon about 6,000-year-old Sasquatches.
I don't know if he's writing books or not, but he's putting up a lot of videos. Most of it, I don't see the Bigfoot he's talking about in the video. I think they're invisible.
Maybe just either he's making it up or he's imagining stuff. He had some really good shrooms.
Well, I think he really believes it, though. That's the thing.
Well,
I think he really believes everything he's putting up.
That's scary.
I think he really, really believes it.
You see, this is the same. Every so often, somebody comes up with a new angle to reinvigorate the and make it more exciting. It needs to be exciting, like and again, another thing that Ken always says. He says if someone wants to sound smart, they'll just throw the word quantum in front of it. I don't know who I'm talking about right now.
Yeah.
And that was just another episode. That was just another angle.
I know about as much about him as about anybody does. Don't know him personally, but and at first I was very intrigued by all that stuff that he recorded, but after really looking into it, and then once he started coming out with the quantum Bigfoot, I'm like, dude, your cheese has slid off your cracker. Sorry.
He come up with an angle and he ran with it. And a lot of people,
that's what you do when you're a Bigfoot superstar. You got to keep that shit going.
I kind of wonder if there's some people that the thought really is in their head that they don't want the truth discovered because they'll have to accept this real mundane explanation.
Oh, I know.
You know,
No,
none of the fantastic stuff, and they'll take the magic out of their world.
absolutely. It'd be like, can you imagine that? That'd be crazy. I mean, the same thing would happen to me if all of a sudden, it was proved that Bigfoot is this supernatural alien, whatever. I'd be like, fuck me.
Hey, if there was something like that, it'd be cool. It'd make the world more interesting. But
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, I'll accept it if it's proven. I don't want people
absolutely.
completely closed off to everything. But
Right.
the most likely, we got to stick with some Occam's, rub some Occam's razor on this.
That's right.
And it's
Yep.
just like the ancient civilization evidence. A lot of people want to think they really want to believe it was aliens, but
Yeah.
Occam's razor, most likely it was just an ancient civilization of humans that was a
Yeah, look, you know what? I don't put it out of the realm of possibility that they had help, but I've always said the same thing. I'm like, you guys are really reaching, man. Why don't you even consider it in the realm of possibility that there was a race that was just smart enough to have this shit and have technology, develop technology that we no longer have.
Yeah.
And they did it themselves, man. They didn't need like help from outer space. They did this shit themselves.
Yeah, I think people just want that fantasy. There's some people they'll swear up and down they got alien DNA in them and stuff like that, and I'm like, well, there's no evidence for that.
Well, prove that. I'll accept it.
But what I do see is some architecture that's way beyond, because they'll say, well, Bronze Age man couldn't have done that. Well, maybe man wasn't all in the Bronze Age at the time.
Well, it's a fact that not every Homo sapien society exited the Stone Age at the same time.
Exactly. We got some in the Stone Age.
The Stone Age didn't end at the same time for everybody.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, before the Europeans came over here, the First Nations people, the Native Americans, were still living in the Stone Age.
Yeah. And there's people now in the Stone Age. Uncontacted.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
North Sentinel Island. I think there was some.
There's a tribe in probably a couple, I think, in South America somewhere that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. And it's illegal to contact them.
They're still in the Stone Age. Stone Age never ended for them.
Yeah, and a lot of them, they want to stay that way too. They're aware of us, and they don't want any part of our bullshit, I guess. But
right.
Why would the ancient world be any different? There would be some Stone Age people running around, some Bronze Age people over here, and then you got these people who have the ability to lift stones so damn big that today we can't even really pull that off.
Right.
And to cut them so perfectly.
Right. Well, see, that's the thing is everybody wants to jump to, it must have been aliens that helped them. Why? Why don't you think that they figured it out all by themselves, man?
Yeah. Well, and a lot of people, I think they're expecting to see an advanced civilization that resembles ours.
Right.
And I would argue that potentially that civilization was more advanced than us because we're pretty materialistic, and they may not have been materialistic. So we got landfills full of crap, huge amounts of plastic floating in the ocean. We've just destroyed so much. They might have been smarter than that.
Absolutely.
And built their technology could have been totally different than ours. They're wondering, like, where's the metal and where's the, well, maybe they didn't do that kind of stuff. Just
Right.
because they didn't invent the internet doesn't mean they didn't have an alternative.
And besides that, one funny thing about metal, at least a lot of metals, they end up rusting and away to nothing.
Yeah. Or it gets plundered. I mean,
Right.
who knows how many gold artifacts were melted down because someone wanted it for other purposes.
Right.
Well, we know a lot of it was.
Right.
So, I mean, and then there's the whole thing with the sea level going up a couple hundred. Well, I think it was 400 feet from the Younger Dryas impact.
Yeah.
So,
Well, just think. Yeah, just think about that that artifact that was found. It was Egyptian artifact. Everybody was like, "It's a bird. It's a bird. It's a bird." It's like, fuck that. You look at it, it's like, that's not a bird. That's a fucking airplane.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a fucking airplane, dude. That's not a bird.
Yeah, and so the idea is that humans couldn't have possibly invented flight at the time. But anatomically modern humans have existed for a very, very long time. So we are expected to believe that only in the last few thousand years were we able to pull this off. Hell, we've had time to pull off 10 civilizations like this.
Absolutely. I mean, at least what the evidence is pointing towards now, I mean, modern humans, Homo sapiens, have been around at least 500,000 years, 500,000 years. I'm not counting the other human species that came before us. I'm talking about us. 500,000 years. How much can you accomplish in 500,000 years, man? I mean, compared to how long the Earth has been along, yeah, that's just a drop in a bucket.
Yeah.
But 5,000 years is a pretty fucking long time, man. To develop shit. So,
and of course, then I'm going to start asking the question: how involved in that ancient civilization was Sasquatch? There's no way to know, but it's a speculation.
Right.
What if they were very involved and humans betrayed them so badly that that's why they stay away from us now?
That could be, or it might be a simple case of they've been that way with us the whole time too.
Yeah, that's my first guess, because they seem exceedingly good at it, and if it's a cultural thing, it's a really strong culture to be this universal. Everywhere that people see Sasquatch, they are hiding extremely well. So it makes me lean towards it's more than something cultural. It's something genetic.
That could be.
Some animals know just instinctually to avoid certain other animals. What if we've been such assholes for so long?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since our existence. Yeah. That's true, man.
But then the 6,000 years thing, I'm not prepared to dismiss the existence of the Sasquatch people being that short.
I don't know, man. They'd have to. I don't know. 6,000 years ago, where
Well, here's my thinking. How long have we? How long ago did we domesticate dogs?
Oh God,
10,000. I think
it was earlier than that, man. I think it was earlier than that.
It may have been earlier. I lean towards 10,000, but I could be wrong. I don't remember exactly. But it hasn't been that long. It hasn't been 100,000 years.
Yeah, geologically speaking, or time-wise speaking, yeah. I mean, compared to everything else, right? You could almost consider it fairly recent, really. I suppose, yeah. We did domesticate the wolf at first, which probably I think it was back in the dire wolf days. I can't be sure about that. It might not have been until gray wolves actually kind of outcompeted dire wolves, and dire wolves went extinct. But it's been at least, that far back. I mean,
That was
wolves.
roughly 13,000 years ago. And the Younger
Right.
Dryas impact may explain, because the dire wolves, I think the dire wolves were really just a bigger gray wolf.
Well, I mean, there's no doubt that they were related species, but gray wolves actually ended up being a lot. For one thing, they propagated a hell of a lot more. And so, I mean, probably one of the reasons why is because they really actually did with numbers. They just outcompeted the dire wolf, really. But it's basically, you've got the gray wolf that we know now is really a continuation of the dire wolf, just a bit smaller.
That's what I'm saying. They're really not separate species. It's just that because all the bigger species got wiped out about the time of the Younger Dryas impact.
Yeah.
And
A lot of the megafauna, besides Homo sapiens wiping them out too, but that didn't help any. But a lot of them got wiped out during those. Yeah.
I don't think it was our fault at all, though. We were hunting things for so long. I think we were probably had very minimal. It didn't help things when the asteroid hit 13,000 years ago, but
Right.
but that's what really killed, because if there vast fields of dead mammoths, and humans didn't just go through and wipe out entire herds of mammoths. That isn't what happened.
Well, but think about it though. But think about some of the factors that help that out. Is not only were Homo sapiens hunting these animals, but at one point Neanderthals also were hunting these animals. They were competing for the same food sources a lot of times. So that's a lot of competition and a lot of pressure, man, on a species.
Well, and that's one of the things, like I've talked about before, like, Sasquatch is in effect a kind of a megafauna version of humans.
Right.
And that maybe kind of explain, because everything was bigger. There was these giant armadillos, there was these giant beavers, and the humans that were here had to get bigger to deal with all this bullshit. Now our version kind of had a different strategy, I guess, numbers and more tool oriented. They got bigger to deal with it. But what I'm saying is I not 6,000 years specifically, but less time than we might think to change. Because when I look at a Sasquatch, well, from what we know, again, I don't know for sure. I haven't seen one myself, but based on the descriptions, to my best knowledge, what I see is something that could very possibly just be another breed of man. And by the descriptions of how much bigger than us they are, that difference in size is way less difference than the difference between a Chihuahua and a Saint Bernard, like way less.
Right, I get you.
And so and that's only a 13,000, 15,000 maybe. I can't remember the exact time, but it hasn't been that long. So what I'm saying is Sasquatch could have emerged from us very recently.
Yeah, I mean, it's a possibility, man. I mean, again, I have to say, I don't know. I mean, it's all guesswork,
Yeah.
When you get right down to it, for all I know, I could be wrong. I mean, maybe I am wrong. Maybe they are, because as I mentioned the other night, I think we're actually considered what's called Homo sapiens sapiens.
Yeah.
So there was a version of Homo sapiens, archaic Homo sapiens, at one point, before we developed into what we're now known as Homo sapiens sapiens, modern man. For all I know, that guy is one of them, one of the archaic ones.
Yeah.
And where he stemmed from, I still think they would have had to stem from Homo erectus, because we did. But where does it belong in there? That's another reason why science is. And Jeff Meldrum brought this up. That's one of the conundrums they're having, because they're so set in, where things are. They don't want to have to deal with where Sasquatch is supposed to fit into that paradigm.
Yeah.
So
Laziness on the parts of scientists. I can't remember. I wish I could remember what that. I remember hearing some years back about someone telling a professor that there was new information, like that he was wrong what he was teaching and he needed to change, and he didn't want to do it because it would be too much trouble to change the curriculum. I mean, is this
Yeah.
really who's teaching? I mean, that person shouldn't be teaching.
Right.
You know, if
Right.
that really happened.
Yeah.
You should want
Yeah.
to
Because
embrace new knowledge.
exactly. Well,
You know,
there's no
even if
telling something.
even if you hate it. But some people don't. They don't. They're like, I don't want things to be that way, so I don't want to embrace that new knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and the new knowledge, it goes against your paradigm, and uh, that's what I don't understand that, because I'm not like that. I'm like, dude, if something that I think is not right, and that there's, you can correct it, absolutely tell me, man, because I want to know what's right. I want the actual knowledge. I don't want to be like in the dark and thinking that something's true that's not, or
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I mean, I basically said the same thing. If I'm wrong about something, please tell me. Prove it and tell me so I can be right too.
yeah, exactly. Because everybody loves to be right, man.
I love to be right, but if I'm wrong,
Love
yeah, I
to
can
be
be right if I'm
right.
wrong. You gotta convince me, and but
Yeah. But
seldom do they.
like Leon says, man, Leon says it's not good enough to be right. You have to be effective as well. So,
Yeah.
hey, man, I gotta jump off now, though.
All right, man. Thanks for coming.
But I love it. Thank you for letting me come on.
Oh, no
I
problem.
so appreciate it, man. I
The
made it to
signal held up
LOCKBEARD
for the most part.
Phenomena. Huh?
The signal held up for the most part. It garbled a couple times, but we
Absolutely.
basically heard what you
It's
said.
because of my charm, man. It didn't dare fuck up because it was like I'm on here. So
Awesome.
yeah, yeah. But cool, man. I love it. Thank you very much. I got it all off my chest. It was great talking to you.
All right, man. Well,
All right.
anytime you want to come on, this isn't my normal format, but I'm willing to embrace it.
All right, brother. All right, man.
So
All right.
cool.
All right. I'll be in chat for a little while still,
All right. We'll see you later.
as long as you're on.
Yeah, a few more minutes.
All right, brother. Cool.
All right, later.
Damn.
All right, I missed a lot of stuff in chat. Mid South says they stay away from us because we're so self-destructive. Yeah. Graham Hancock says it's way longer, Lockbeard. Which part? Like how old humanity's been here, or the dogs? Google says man domesticated dogs 30,000 years ago. Okay, all right. Yeah, I couldn't remember exactly, but really, that's not that far back. You think of the amount of change. I guess what I'm trying to do with using the dogs examples kind of illustrate to people how much something can change, in a shorter period of time than they think. And so again, I'm not saying that's definitely the case with Sasquatch. I'm just saying it's still kind of on the table, with the other possibilities. Mammoths were cool, yeah. One factor among many. Well, that's what the giants were of their time. Look at the number show. Look at the number of this show. 42. Oh, that was a number that Tall One said yesterday. Holy shit. Even though there's reports of these giants coming out of caves in Washington, I'm not convinced of the giants thing. You know, and then again, what are they talking about when they say giants? Because, you know, like if you're a short people and somebody a couple feet taller than you, that's basically a giant. You know, well, that's, you know, the whole story of humanity, really. It's kind of like those stories from South America where they said these tall, bearded, light-skinned people came, that they were the ones that were there before them, and they left, I guess. But to them they were giants, but they were just European men, is all they were. So I don't know if there's giants out there too. That would be really cool if it was true, but it's purely speculation. Yeah. We were triple tricked in our historical records. Brian Chewy's here. Welcome. Jeff, what a letdown. What a letdown. When I know everything, I might let you know, says Mr. Lee. Time for whiskey. Barry Browning's here. Welcome. Mark Dobbins here. Welcome. This is, I'm later, but good day to everyone in chat. Hope everyone's well. Donald says to Joe, you're going to have to go to Mogs now that you're a hypocrite to him. What? Why is everyone hypocrites all of a sudden? Good man. Going to talk about the number on my show tomorrow. Awesome. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Do you see numbers a lot? Well, the tall ones mentioned the number 42 on her live stream, and Miss Salisbury. Mark Donald says, I just finished yard work, Mr. Lee, so sitting and having a quiet sip. Donald says 42 is linked to the meaning of life according to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Yep. Jen's here. Welcome. I wish I was 42 against this, Danny. Yeah. So no to what? Must be something pretty far. Do you see numbers a lot? Oh, you do see numbers a lot. Yeah. 444 all day for you, says Mr. Lee 3PO. All right, we're over. We're 20 minutes over 2 hours.
Absolutely can kill.
Oops. Let me see. I want to see if Central Florida Bigfoot's on. Well, it's not showing me. Because if he is, I'm going to mention that he's on. It don't look like he's on, though. But the UFO Man is on the UFO Man channel, and the Ravens Outpost is on. So if you guys are looking for some more paranormal subject matter in a live stream, those are some places to check out. Mr. Lee says 42. Yes, the meaning of life, the universe, and everything. Yeah, Ravens on, and the UFO Man. So I don't know how many in the Sasquatch realm of things is familiar with the UFO Man, but he talks about what his name obviously implies. Catch you later, Mark. Thanks for coming. Thanks, Joe, coming on, talk about all that stuff. Yeah, 6,000 plus year old Bigfoot. extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. So whoever's claiming that, you know, I don't know if you're gonna. I don't know how you're gonna determine that. You know, cut off a Sasquatch leg and count the tree rings. I don't know how you determine that. We haven't even got a body that thoroughly, like, truly proves it to the world. So how do we possibly know that? Hey, oh, wait, he was told this telepathically. Something else we can't prove. So chat went sideways tonight. Why did it go sideways? I didn't see. Um, I didn't see anything. Did something crazy go on in the chat? Because you may not see it, but I bet you a grand he does. See some shadow images talk. Uncle Bones says fart out orbs. Mr. Lee says Joe had a paranormal experience. I've had I cannot show you data. Do you believe me or want the proof always? Well, you kind of need to prove. Like, this is the important thing. A lot of people, like, don't get upset if people don't believe your story, because how do they know? Like, even if they know you very well, you could, for all we know, you could be mistaken. You know, you might have had kind of a waking dream or something, and or maybe there's a slight, you know, mental issue. For, you know, we don't know these things. We can't say for certain. You could have just been mistaken, though. So, like, there just needs to be evidence, for, because if we just believed everything everybody said, man, we would be believing all kinds of crazy stuff at this point. So we got to stick to, you know, evidence, science, proving things, and we can't just believe everything, you know, people say. Thank you, Donald. Earth says, Jen, I went and came back and had chores to do. Chat did level out. What went wrong in chat? I didn't. There's a lot of stuff back there. Mr. Show going to catch up when it's posted. Mr. Lee says, I don't care if people don't believe me, Lockbeard. For those that know me, they believe me. Yeah. Well, as long as you're fine with that, you know, because I usually, if someone gets all pissed off because I don't just believe them, that's kind of a red flag. You know, that they're trying to manipulate me to you know, to agree to support what they're saying. You know, yeah, no one should ever get mad just because someone just can't bring themselves to believe their story. Just try to find a way to prove it to them if you can. By the sounds of it, the stream is down by the sounds of it. What? Just don't rant about it so fearlessly. Mr. Lee says, and also so many people know in England have also had paranormal experiences. Just saying. I mean, you know, you watch me talk about this stuff. I'm open to the paranormal stuff. It's just, you know, not every claim should be believed. Joe says, Mr. Lee, I don't doubt you believe your experience stuff. Everyone has personal experiences, but if someone tells me ghosts are real, I want to see proof because I've never seen one. Donald says, some felt you and Joe are hypocrites, I guess. Why? I mean, I don't understand why we're hypocrites. Like, because we were talking about some stuff that was speculation, and or because I mean, I think we were pretty good about saying, this is just speculation. Mr. Lee says, what would their account of things if they'd not read another's account before theirs? Yeah. How you think is your way. I'm cool with that. Judy says that's why the people are studying this on their own and no government help at all. Prairie Fire, welcome, by the way. Says, why do ghosts have clothes, or does clothes have a soul now too? To tackle this, I'm not even gonna, because look, it's a big subject. Man, where to start? I don't know where to start with this, because things just kind of came together. But I think it's important to try and understand like how the universe actually works, what consciousness actually is. And that's a big task for people in our society, because we haven't been taught all that. The information is out there. Ken Wheeler's like engaged in teaching that. So that's the best place I know. I mean, there may be other places to go. I don't know for sure who's 100% on the right track or not. But I agree with Ken in what he's saying, and he describes what you call spiritual and what consciousness is, and what ghosts are. He has articles on it. He's done countless videos on his channel. To start to get you to kind of understand, what's going on there. Joe says, Donald, everyone has an opinion. I'm always who I am, and I don't feel hypocritical at all. I say the same things all the time. DMT, yeah, that's something that's going to be harder to get people to go down, because again, that's a whole nother, like, you can study psychedelics as a separate subject of interest, which it has been for me for 20 8 years or something like that. And if you go over to Ken Wheeler's channel, don't ever mention psychedelics or any kind of drug or even alcohol. He doesn't want to talk about it. He's not interested in it. He believes that if people want to have for lack of a better term, a spiritual experience, I guess, like they should do it through like not meditation. Don't ever say meditation over there either. I forget the term he uses, but anyway, so he's on a different path there. DMT and all psychedelics is like an end around to doing the actual work yourself with your mind. But that being said, I haven't been able to achieve shit, so I don't know what to do. But I think that if a person understands enough of the science that Ken is trying to teach you, and then takes that knowledge with them when they fiddle with the dial on the radio here with DMT, then they're going to get more out of it. They're going to understand more what they've experienced. Just like the Carney Doors Cannon Soul contract. What the hell are you talking about? Squashy Cowboy says he's pissed. Is Tanny Boy here too? Welcome to both of you. Just getting ready to wind her down. Mr. Lee says, Tanny Boy, I bet you're lurking all the time. Man of the cloth bullshit. What? What was said about that? Could have swore I saw something about that, but I don't remember where it was at. Ruthless says, "Hail the monkey." Yeah, Ruthless knows the monkey well. The monkey is Ken Wheeler. He calls himself the tattooed monkey sometimes. Donald says, "Joe, it wasn't me feeling that way. It was some comments I read before they left." What the hell is their problem? Sandra says, "Tim Boy, doing good, thank you. How is your dragon today? Give him a kiss for me." Tim Boy loads, man. Best way to watch. I think, Mr. Lee, you asked about goats. I haven't gotten any yet. It's a hard decision and hard to find them at the price I want and stuff like that. But hoping to, basically build a herd and make money selling them. Because the thought of, anyway, it's just, most of the time I wouldn't be having to like deal with people, going in and dealing with, being trapped in a place and dealing with people for 8 hours in a day is I don't know how to describe it. Maybe some of you know what I'm talking about. Ruthless says, "Larf, all you like, Mr. Lee. None of us get out alive." Joe says, "Hey, Donald, we're cool. If whoever it was wants to confront why they think that, I am always open for discussion." You've been missing him, cowboy? Oh, they have their collectivism with DMT. You know who said it? He'll have you on his show. Where the signals go? You won't be going wherever the fuck those signals go. Come on, Ruthless. Timboy says, "Dude, DMT, Lockbeard, it makes a difference. Ego death is crazy." Judy says, "It helps you to relearn what fluoride took away." Yeah, I mean, how permanent is the damage, though? That's my question. And, how we prove that. But Ruthless says, "Dolores Cannon is held up as a visionary Lucky. She's well known by truth tards." Ego death. Wait, question mark. You're not familiar with that? I thought you would be, Ruthless. When the regular NN-DMT, opens the doors to the spiritual, what people call the spiritual realm. But 5-MeO-DMT doesn't just open the doors, it knocks the walls down. It completely, my best interpretation of what's going on is, normally you have your individual mind, your individual ego, because of biochemical barriers, for lack of, because your mind's a radio. It's not the radio station, it's a radio. It's picking up signal. The signal is what you would call your soul, consciousness, spirit, or whatnot. You're tuning, you're messing with the fiddle on the dial when you're using psychedelics. But 5-MeO-DMT temporarily takes the radio completely offline. You completely lose your individuality, and you rejoin the everything, the one mind, the one consciousness, everything. You realize, you completely forget, you don't forget, you lose your individuality. You're no longer ruthless. You are now part of everything. And that's why when people, come back from 5-MeO-DMT, they really, they don't retain, they don't really know what because it's so wild. This mind cannot retain that and truly process it. Wait for invite Donald. Shock the monkey. Old Bear was talking shit about me. Old Bear? Was Old Bear in here? I missed it, I guess. If he was. This is how I spent my Saturday night. Ego is not a dirty word. Song by Scott Hooks. He's the one that claims he shot 3 of them. Yeah, Old Bear. Yeah. Shot 3 of them. Still ain't brought no bodies in. He bought 200 acres in the middle of nowhere in Kentucky. Got a bio. Visitor. Mr. Lee. So Tom Cruise is coming over about 10 minutes. We're going to smoke a big fat doobie and get blasted. Is Tom Cruise going to come out of the closet, Mr. Lee? Squatch Cowboy says, Donald now, he says he didn't, but I have him on video saying he did. Oh, is he changing his story? I'm so surprised. Shirley's voice was unique. I was talking to Cowboy. Tom Cruise zaps me all the time with his Scientology crap. Squatch Talk, welcome. Oh, plenty. Joe jumped on. I guess if you guys are going to keep jumping on, maybe I'll, because I was kind of in what I'm doing. The signal actually held up for the most part. I don't know if everyone else saw it, but there were a couple points where he got a little, like the video kind of garbled up a little bit. But for the most part, I could, talk to him. I guess I'm not against it. I just, that's what you do, I don't necessarily have to have guests all the time, but I'm not against it. We could do that. I mean, Joe wanted to come on and have and say some things. So, hey, I'm all about it. So, if people feel like they can't say something on another channel or something, let it roll. Scientology. Squatchology. He's lurking. No 3PO, just joined, never a lurker. Joe says, not much, Pat. I and Lockbeard have been labeled hypocrites, I guess. Yeah, I'm still confused as to how that is. I try my best, say, look, I'm making what I think are educated guesses on stuff. It's speculation, some of this stuff. It's just like what you're saying. We can't state something as absolute fact, without the evidence of that. Yar Yikrub says, hey, Squash, awesome show with Ritter the other night. I really enjoyed it. It's a new name. Welcome. Welcome to the chat. Talking about Sasquatch, of course. Uncle Bones is here. Welcome. The beer is getting there, Lockbeard. Thank you, Mr. Lee. I'm trying. Kenny Boy says, brother, I can only speak for myself, but when done properly, the results are staggering. I let go of serious trauma I lived with 25 to 30 years. Yeah. And the society's starting to open up to it, and there's a lot of studies being done with like psilocybin mushrooms for treatment of PTSD and stuff like that. So society's coming along and realizing those drugs aren't really what we thought they were. They shouldn't be used as party drugs. I think Paul Stamets is 100% correct that people need to take these things seriously and not treat them as party drugs. Joe can say whatever he wants on my channel. He's trusted. Oh, I'm not necessarily saying on your channel, just in general, because I just try to be the most free speech place there is, and there might be some things, that people don't feel like they can say elsewhere or something, or like politics. There was a little bit of politics talk tonight, and not much, but there was some. Judy says it turned into a great conversation after the rant of get science to prove anything. Well, we need science to prove things. It's just we do. Tim Boy says, but it will be demonized by Big Pharma. Yeah, but they can't. They're not going to be. It's just like with weed. It was so hard to control, and it created so much chaos. They people were eventually going to have to face the fact that the only thing that happened when the government made something so not entirely harmless, but weed is pretty damn harmless. The only thing that happened when they made it illegal is make things worse, way worse. Like in a world with legal weed, there aren't cartels, there isn't shootouts, there isn't tremendous cost to the taxpayers, to imprison all these people for just using the stupid weed. By making it illegal, the government is directly responsible for a lot of deaths. They turned something that shouldn't have been deadly at all into something that was very deadly. Made a bunch of bad, drug dealer types, people who didn't have any problem breaking the law, and they, could be involved with a lot darker stuff than just drugs. They made them rich. They had a corner on the market because law-abiding citizens aren't allowed to sell this stuff. But the rich, or not the rich, the criminals have no problem breaking those laws, so they got rich. So you got to ask yourself: the government has to know this. I don't want to say stupid, but you got to think everything's economics, and this is straight up economics. You make something hard to get, somebody's going to see that niche and take advantage of it, and no matter how much you try to make it hard, they're going to do it. Bones, my man. Sir, Mr. Lockbeard is using evidence proving LIB is full of shit. I subbed instantly. Oh, well, thank you. Weed controls my PTSD and anxiety. I'm vulnerable to these afflictions as anyone. I'm working on getting UFO video to show you, Lockbeard, on your show. Yeah, that object in your sky, like that was interesting, but yeah, so we need more to see kind of like, is it staying there all the time? What is that thing? Pat says mushrooms, even more than weed, hard for consistency. You never know what you're going to get. Yeah. They only get paid if you're sick, pharma. Yeah. So who's going to ask Richter on next? Oh, well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing more Richter, but I mean, Joe made some good points. Like, he's basically, down on everybody in the Bigfoot space, and not everybody's necessarily a hoaxer. But I like that he goes for the jugular. So if he could focus on those that he that are definitely truly hoaxers and bullshit artists, I'm glad he's out there doing it. If he's going to keep doing it, like he's saying he's not really, but yet he's been on a couple shows. But like I said in the beginning of the show, I was like, man, Richter, look, there's some subjects you probably need to not bring up, and it's a I've seen that behavior many times before, and it where they got a captive audience, and then now I'm going to to push a certain agenda, you know. We all didn't need the little lesson, is what I'm saying. We didn't need the little lesson. We were talking Bigfoot, right? Nikki says, Joe, you're next in line to have Richter on. Mr. Lee says, Pat, you've done missions before. Oh, man, that's funny. Starting podcast with Richter. Nikki, please, no, says Judy. Pat says, Nikki, just so you know, Richter asked me to be on the show last night. Mr. Lee says, where's Patrick Vaughn these days? Mr. Lee, are you trying to start troubles? Nikki says, not what he told me. He was playing us against each other. Still, Pat, it hurt me feelings that you had to show so fast after mine. So you think Richter's playing a little game here? Is that what's going on? Joe says, nope, not me, Lucky. Like I said, I feel for Richter, but I've heard it all. He just disappeared. Yeah, well, Patrick Vaughn has blocked me and some other people. And I think it's because he can't handle the challenges to some of the more woo parts of his story. And, you know, I don't think I want to go hard on him, but I'm kind of feeling like we had one of those cases where someone was trying to push some woo and latched on to one of the logical channels to use them to vampire suck some credibility. And people go to Squatch Talk and they know that they're gonna, keep it real over there, right? And then Patrick Vaughn's there and then he's sucking on that energy, right? I don't know for sure. Okay, don't quote me on that. I don't know for sure that that's really what's going on, but he's blocked me. So he must not like that I'm willing to entertain the idea that well, I don't just entertain the idea. If he saw Sasquatch disappear in cloak, I think that it's more likely that he is mistaken in what he saw than that the damn thing has the ability to cloak like the Predator movie, So now if he's all butthurt about that, then whatever. But he's blocked me, and I guess that's why. I can see Patrick running more. I like to know what happened. Yeah, he's probably got you blocked too. I know for a fact he's got me blocked. Oh, single knock theory. I thought Richter would have another show with DDoS. Oh, no, I don't even. What the hell? He shows up in Mog's chat every now and then, says Joe. Nikki, come on, hurt. It's a show. It's just people. Mr. Lee says, I want to hear Sasquatch giving birth. What? Whose? Oh, Patrick Vaughn. Oh, yeah, that whole deal. Well, I'm not sure exactly which one he meant. Did he mean giving birth, or did he mean he mean he witnessed? Because when you look at the chat, I wasn't sure exactly what he meant. Did he mean he'd witnessed them mating, or he witnessed a female giving birth? I'm not sure which, but either one is pretty extraordinary claim. Danny says, I said it before, like sands through the hourglass, these are the days of our lives. Old Bear wants me to just go away now. Well, I wouldn't mind if Old Bear went away. I mean, he claims he shot 3 Sasquatch, and I have a couple of problems with that. One, every description of a Sasquatch that seems legit, it sounds like it's a type of human to me. And if you're willing to shoot this innocent human, like I can get it if you're being attacked, but if you've shot 3 of them, and they're attacking you that much, you did something to piss them off or something. But I think the real story there is it's bullshit. I don't know that for 100% fact, but you shot 3 Bigfoot and you ain't got nothing. You ain't been able to drag home one of those bodies somehow. Improve the road. True that. Donald says, Prairie Fire asked him about DDoS. For some reason, he didn't want to touch that one. Yeah. You ain't going to go nowhere, man, if I can help it. Who did you ask? Did you ask Richter? Danny used to watch the soap opera with my mom. Hate session. The two had a nice little hate session a while back. Bigfooting is full of haters. Squashy Cowboy says, Mr. Lee, I made a video today talking shit about me, and I told him he made a video today talking shit about me, and I told him to delete it or hear from my lawyer. Joe says, if I saw 2 Sasquatch fucking, I would be done. That's it. It's over. And I'll make a fortune with Bigfoot porn. Well, I'm sure there's just as big a niche for Bigfoot porn as there is for midget porn. Team Boy says he blocks everyone he thinks is a threat. Who, Patrick Vaughn? Yeah. Miss Lee says, Old Bear, I don't watch or listen to Cowboy. Pay no mind, man. Old Bear. What are you saying here? I'm Old Bear, I don't watch or listen to. I think you got the names flipped around. I think what you mean is, Cowboy, I don't watch or listen to Old Bear. Pay no mind, man. I think that's what you mean. You dyslexic? Mr. Lee says, Timmy Boy, I always say hello to Patrick Vaughn for you anyways. The big money shot. Can you say hi for me? Whatever. I mean, I feel like because he was coming in and he was just speaking so authoritatively, 3rd generation trucker, this and that, and and he's developed a formula. He's got an equation. It's getting real scientifical. And these claims about the knocking, and like, okay, well, you ought to be able to take, 10 of the most, logically thinking, people in the Bigfoot community out and demonstrate it to everybody, right? If it's a formula, if it's an equation, you just got to plug in the variables. Team Boy says, stay on it, Mr. Lee. Old Bear link still up. Mr. Lee says, no Lockbeard, just an Englishman. Well, alrighty then. Squashy Cowboy says, yes, but don't watch it. That's what he wants. Well, I never watched Old Bear's channel, so unless there's something to kind of make fun of, or Judy says, I heard him last night, but I missed it today. Mr. Lee says, Donald, next time I see him, I will say hi for you. Donald, it's Old Bear's Den. Hold on a second. Here we go. So that should have popped up. Well, no, it didn't. Let me see if I can get it to come up. All right. There's Old Bear's Den channel. Old Bear's Den of Bigfoot. You'll notice the yeah, I'm subscribed, but you notice the notification bell is not activated. So, because, I'm monitoring as many Sasquatch channels as possible to some extent, but I'm not like watching Old Bear Stint. In fact, I haven't watched anything of his for a very long time because I just don't feel like it's worth a lot of time. But although if we got some drama, maybe it needs to be addressed. Jay says, I'm here. You all can sit down now, and thanks for the applause. Joe says, I don't even know who Old Bear is. And the Squatch Cowboy says he is butthurt because I don't call him anymore, and he even says it in the video. Well, I mean, what's the deal? Old Bear's Den of Bigfoot. Yeah, it's there on the screen. Pacemaker still ticking SE. Spare chair tonight. I'm blasted. Absolutely, just don't throw up. I mean, I'll put the link here if you guys really want to go and see what the issue is. That's Old Bear's Den. But whoops, yeah, spelling errors aside. But he's just one of those I think is full of shit. He's just how do you shoot 3 Bigfoot and you ain't got nothing? Mr. Lee says, I won't, Jay Fritz, I promise. You be too. Joe says, if people don't believe you and you have no proof, then you can't get upset. I have 0 proof of my encounter, and if people are skeptical, I can't complain and get all but hurt. Yeah. I mean, and that's, a logical person's going to take that position, I can tell you, like, when I was in Appalachians and I felt like something was watching me, and I turned around and I went back the way I came. I didn't know what it was for sure, but some people might question, okay, that I actually had some kind of psychic impression off of something that was there, maybe. They might, think that I just, got tired or something, but all I know is I felt like something wasn't right. I was climbing up. I was trying to get some. I was gold panning. I was trying to get somewhere where no one had been before, and I don't know if I achieved that, but I was going up, and I guess I went too far. All I know is I felt like something was there. Something was watching me, didn't want me there. So I turned around, went back the way I went. Now, some people might question that, and I'm like, I get it. Why should you believe me? You don't know for sure that I'm, it wasn't just indigestion or something. You don't know. So I get it. You should not just believe people's stories out of hand. You kind of need some evidence of things, especially if they get kind of woo like that. He's got you so damn pissed. So it sounded like maybe maybe a roasting of Old Bear's Den is in order. Timmy Boy says he is an older Patrick Vaughn. Agreed, Joe. All right. Let's see. Let's see if anyone's. Yeah, because I know Chuck will go. UFO Man still on. UFO Man. Ravens Outpost is still on. But I don't see Central Florida Bigfoot, so I guess he's not on tonight. But I'm fading. So I am going to bring her to a close in just a second. Yeah, it wasn't a psychic premonition, it was indigestion. Jen says, when your gut says something is wrong, it never hurts to remove yourself from the situation. Yeah. And reality was I was way off the beaten path. If I fell, like no one would ever have found my ass up there. Like no one knew where I was at. I didn't have signal flares. I didn't have a locator beacon. If I fell down and died, no one would have ever found my body, I don't think. Which, I don't, whatever. Jen says, when your gut says, oh, I already read that one. Shirley says, many people in England had paranormal encounters, though, Lockbeard. I hear you. I believe that a lot of them are true. It's just we need to start being able to get some hard science on a lot of it. Because I think some people, their minds are just playing tricks on them. I think some people are just straight up lying, and how do you sort out which ones, are real experiences and liars, or people are just mistaken? We need to figure out a way to sort that all out. Not just with ghosts, but with, Sasquatch and UFOs and all this other stuff. Squash Talk says, I'm going to start a new show called Shit Talk. Good times, good show, Lockbeard. Yeah, thanks for coming on, Joe. Anytime, signal seems to be holding up pretty good. So I guess it's, it wasn't too bad. Just a couple garble points, but wasn't too bad. So anytime you want to come on, I'm cool. Judy says, a roasting that reminds me of the TV show. Yeah. Hello, chessboard. Welcome. I haven't put it back out. Because I keep forgetting to pull the images off, and then I figured I would show them on a random live with the images I did get, and there's some short video clips too. A lot of deer, no hogs, and as far as I know, no Sasquatch. I was really hoping for hogs, because I can't hunt deer right now, and I really want to try some hunting out here. And if there's hogs, I can hunt those because they're feral, right? You can kill them whenever you want, and just drag it in and roast it over a fire or whatnot. Give the dogs their cut. I definitely want to give the dogs their cut. You should always give your dog some real meat, especially if you're eating it in front of them. Donald says, good show. The invasion was a change for once. Oh, yeah. Well, maybe we'll do it more, I'm not, against that idea. It's just not what I typically do. So, that's what your show is already. What the hell? Group agree, but sometimes I get rubbed the wrong way. Uncle Bone says, probably about people not believing your story. Yeah, Joe says, don't get it twisted. I believe in intuition. Lots of people have it, but that's not psychic ability, I don't think. Yeah, I mean, it. If it's not psychic, like like we need to try and understand what the normal physics are behind that and biology. Like, how does it work? What's the nuts and bolts? But I think there's a degree. I think there is a degree of psychic stuff. It's just again, how do you prove it? Prayer fire says, Chessboard, good to see you. Squash Talk says, Judy Wheeler, you have no idea. On Squash Talk, I'm nice. So yeah, ponder that. Yeah. Chessboard says, hey, Uncle Bones, long time no see. Did I not? I thought I answered that. I ain't got one yet. Or I ain't got them. I think I'm going to get a few. Because these that are here haven't had a real successful breeding history in the past. So, I'm not sure how well they're going to do anyway. So I think it's best to go ahead and get some more females to make sure that there's some, that I do get some kids out of them to sell and make some money. Because if it ain't making money, then what the hell? You're a invasive species, according to Donald. Yeah, what was that about? All right. So thanks for coming. I think tomorrow see a lot of you at Nikki's chat and Pat's show and Joe's show and Moog's show, and I'm sure I'm missing some. Central Florida Bigfoot. Thank you all for coming. And I don't know if I'm going to do any random lie. I don't know. I just been really focused on doing this other stuff, and doing random lies is kind of hard to fit in. But the main topic, on the thumbnail tonight, that just April Fool's joke, but it's just an example. The media runs with stuff, and it just sucks because then people find out it's an April Fool's joke, and it just adds to public perception that it's all bullshit. But like Old Bear's Den stories about killing Sasquatch,
It's a fake.
Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because subscribing makes you feel
good. Mr. Lee wants to talk gold next time. I think I'll be on Steve's show tomorrow. Oh, Squatch D TV. Awesome. Pat, I'll have to catch you in the next show. Gold, says Mr. Lee. Well, maybe we can't. I haven't gone gold prospecting in so damn long. Great evening. Thank you, Chessboard. Moonshine. I don't make moonshine. Definitely invasive. He was very welcome. Pat has a good show, Judy, says Joe. Well then, Donald, as they say, then my work here is done. Thank you all for coming, and I will see you next time.